Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we started doing these missions. Let's see where they are. Lacaon Maioris. But we did the first two in this stage 1. And since they've been, honestly, the end of reward payout or end of mission payouts have been doing better than expected, we'll just keep going.
Xenos, demons, heretics. Enact the Emperor's will and purge the universe of their taint. Let hatred be our shield and their blood our salvation.
I swear I have sophomore sense of humor. I just can't stop myself from grinning like an idiot when they're like, "Cleanse this land of the taint." It's like, taint. That word has honestly been ruined for me. But this is going to be a bit of old news by the time this video comes out, but more stuff for the whole Blizzard Activision thing. The head of the team lead for Overwatch bounced, taking time off or leaving for personal reasons, which very well could be personal reasons, but considering the absolute hellscape that whole place is becoming at the moment, I wouldn't be surprised if that person was just like, "I'm gonna cut and run," either because they facilitated or did some sketchy stuff, or they just don't want to be there. Either way, I wouldn't blame them. That might be one of those things where it's going to look bad on a resume, potentially. But that happened, and then who was it? I think it was like one of the head lawyer people they have on hand. Some of their law staff, or the top people, bounced. I was just thinking, damn, you know what's bad? Even your lawyers are sitting there going, "Yeah, I'm not going to get involved in this."
No, you are gone.
Ah, God, that whole place is just... I don't know what is going on over at Blizzard. Like I've said before, I think part of it might be a bit of nepotism, might be a bit of just general lethargy. I mean, what has Blizzard genuinely put out in the past 5 years? Overwatch? Some WoW expansions that people hate because they don't really add anything or give you a false sense of choice because either the story doesn't go anywhere or players end up realizing they added some covenant system and people found out only one is really good, or each class has one covenant they can really use, otherwise they all suck. Stuff like that, they kind of screwed themselves. Blizzard and Activision really had a chance, I think, with Destiny. Realistically, what they should have done is just straight up bought Bungie. It would have been expensive, would have hurt like hell paying for it, but they could have had that and rolled with it. As much as I rip on Destiny, and I will do it until the day I die, or they make a better game, they have a lot of players, and they make a good amount of money. Where that money goes, hell if I know. I swear it doesn't go into the game, because there's a lot of stuff in that game that is still pretty meh. Or, they re-release Yallarhorn and are like, "Oh, you know the weapon that was unbalanced for years? Well, we're gonna say it's balanced again, because please buy our DLC." But that's just me being salty over years of not having that weapon, even though it was my favorite. And my first exotic. So it had a special place in my heart. But, they could have bought that. They could have actually made some RTS games. They could have done literally anything. I mean, come on. Overwatch is dying. I thought that game was never gonna die. Granted, I think that's just because the Battle Royale genre just came out of nowhere and has become a juggernaut. But I think that's partially because I think it's going to suffer the same fate as the hero shooter, simply because it's everywhere now. And it's reached a point where people are already getting sick of it, and honestly, Call of Duty is not helping matters by having a horribly imbalanced and sure as hell not anti-cheat provided game. Even Vanguard, the beta for that was laughable. The beta, and people already have hacks. There was a dude, I watched a video, this guy, one, to have the balls to cheat like this, you have both the biggest, brassiest balls and the tiniest junk imaginable to cheat in online gaming. Like, come on, grow up, dude. But people caught this guy cheating. He had a cheat that let him instantly end the match. He just instantly sets the timer to 0 and just ditches. I'm like, what the hell? Why is that an option? And I think a big part of it is just like the competitive nature. All these Twitch, these TTV sweat lords and kids sitting here, I'm gonna be the next Courage JD. Realistically, no, you're not. I'm not sitting here telling myself I'm gonna be the next PewDiePie. I'm not. I'm not gonna sit here with 50 gorillion subscribers and, be able to retire 7 years into my career. That's not gonna happen. It'd be dope as hell if it did, but I acknowledge that is... If you're going in with that mentality, you're gonna fail. You need to actually go in enjoying what you're doing. But you have all these people sweating their ass off
but you can certainly fight
that
Inquisitor.
especially with the skill-based matchmaking, you're gonna alienate people. You're gonna alienate casual players. You're gonna have people who aren't that good, and they're just gonna say, screw it, I'm cheating. I'll spend $10 by, the Armenian hackbot 9000 that's gonna give my computer, cyber syphilis, and just fly around headshotting everybody, spin by, because I'm tired of this. And it'll happen. It's one of those you reap what you sow kind of deals. I think it would be far less prevalent if the skill-based matchmaking was a lot looser. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, there shouldn't be SBMM ever, because there's always been it. Right, that is a reality, it's always existed. But to this degree, I don't think so.
Today is a good day.
That's an enraged bonus, that's trash. Alright, next one.
This is a straightforward rescue mission. Get in, save some Imperial units under fire, take command of the survivors, and get out. I don't even dare to ask why an Inquisitor is handling this. I mark the distress beacons and the extraction zone on your map.
But going with just the topic of shooters like COD and stuff, I miss a lot of the more, I guess I'd say, smaller shooters. And even some of the bigger ones, like, I miss Killzone. Shadowfall was one hell of a way to kill that franchise. I mean, I think Guerrilla's working on a new game, but oh my god. I have Shadowfall. It was one of the first games I got for the PS4. That game sucked. Like, it did nothing right, in my opinion. It felt slower than the others. it condensed classes way too much. Yeah, it didn't have to be Killzone 2 level. I think there was like 8 classes in that. But, you know, they could have done something along those lines. I would even take the 8 classes. It did fine. Killzone 2 had vehicles and stuff too, and they just got rid of it. They started going away with that in 3. Granted, 3 also had, like, I think it was Warzone? Really, just stop naming modes of Warzone, my god. But what it was a series of objectives, and depending on how well or bad you were, you showed up in cutscenes differently between the segments. Absolutely loved it. You know, there were a few times playing at my friend's house where I did so well that I would be on like the winning team and be top guy, so I'd get to be the one to, at the end cutscene, execute the other players and do all this cool stuff. It always felt badass, right? I'd be, you know, in a scene closing a door or something as my team retreats. It was always cool. Very minor thing, but I loved it. And, you know, you don't see that very much. And I just really would like to see stuff like that. I would like to see MAG. If you do not know of MAG, you did not play on the PlayStation 2010-2011. Because that game was phenomenal. Or Dust 514. That game definitely needed some work, but it was a good game. Brink had some glaring issues. One being a grenade at your feet did not kill you. It just knocked you over. And you were way too spongy in that game, oh my god. Like, if you got some of the side objectives that gave you even more health, you were just the meatiest people. It was so stupid. But the idea was really cool. Enemy territory Quake Wars. I would love for that. I'd love for that to be a new thing, actually. But considering Microsoft now owns Bethesda, which by extension I believe includes id Software, and considering they did the remaster of Quake recently, I think that would be all of Quake. Not probably gonna see a remaster anytime soon, and if we do, or a remake, or a sequel, it is probably going to be some Xbox exclusive Day 1 Game Pass. Just a hideous thing. Which actually, that reminds me, I saw a thing not too long ago about some of the head people from Bethesda actually up and leaving. And yeah, it could definitely be some people just moving on or retiring. But it's always weird when top people just drop out. And it always makes me think something's up, which, in the case of Microsoft, wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I went to college for IT. IT is what I do. I hate Microsoft. Like, yeah, Windows is neat and all, but oh my god, it is terrible. And Microsoft continues to do dumb things. Their gaming division, seriously, look at what they have done as exclusives in the past. Let's look at Xbox One in general. What have they made? Or supported? Crackdown 2, or not Crackdown 2, Crackdown 2 is actually good. Crackdown 3?
The survivors are now under
where
your
they
command,
probably spent more money hiring
say.
Terry Crews to do ad stuff than QA. Which, once again, that was a shame. Scalebound, which died before even getting released. What was it, Phantom Dust? Or something like that? Some other game died. Halo Guardians. I remember people ripping into that, and that game just vanishing, and everybody just went to, like, Master Chief Collection to play Halo 3 or Halo Reach again. I'm trying to think what else. Just, seriously, off the top of my head, everything they've touched has either the studios died. Oh yeah, there was a Fable game that died horrendously that I just cannot remember. Did that one also take Lionhead Studios with it? But in general, it's just been so many failures that when I see stuff like, oh, Microsoft bought the studio, you know, they bought Bethesda, I'm like, so they're gonna kill Bethesda. Because they, for some reason, they just don't let these people make things. They seem to have to get involved or do some stupid thing that I've yet to figure out, and it ends badly.
All survivors are in your custody. Initiate
And I honestly
exfiltration
think part of
protocols.
it is Game Pass. Because really think about it. Let's say you make a $60 game. Okay, you're guaranteed $60 at that point. Or $50 or $40, depending on when people buy in. But you're guaranteed money. Let's say you sell 1 million copies at $60.
Extraction zone reached. All survivors
Then and there,
are accounted for.
you get
well done.
$60 million.
Stand by for retrieval.
For Game Pass, can you tell me that you're getting $60 million or more? That Microsoft's throwing that at you. Because the thing is, I don't know if they are. And especially launch day. Launch day, that's when you make a good amount of money. Launch week, so on and so forth. That's a real big gamble to be like, yeah, we'll put our game for free on this service. And that's what I'm just I find very dubious. I think it's great for smaller studios, you know, some indies who, you know, definitely aren't going to be pulling $60 million. But anything short of that, you know, bigger games, I start to question, are you actually getting that good of a deal? Because at that point you have to rely pretty heavily on microtransactions. And people are getting tired of microtransactions. I've heard of people wanting to go back to season passes and map packs, which I'm like, I'd rather not. But I get it. You know, you look at these games and they're like, oh, do you want to spend $29.99 on a character skin, a gun skin, and a sticker to put on your gun? No. That's half the game's value. I said it before, I think, in a video. You look at Fallout 76, you can spend like $16, $17 on a power armor skin, or at launch, you could buy the entire Fallout 4 Far Harbor DLC for like $15, which was an entire area, new enemies, new building stuff, companion, quests, voice line stuff, new weapons, power armor skins, all this stuff, and it's like, there is a big gap here. And it's not really being addressed all too much. But I think it's because, you know, people realize, at least studios realize, people don't do a lot of compare and contrast in what you're really getting for your money. So it's easy to kind of get away with upcharging stuff that really should not be worth what it's being charged at. What do we get? Another relic shard. I'll take it. And that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.